Yep, it's official. The Samsung Galaxy S21 series has finally been unveiled and we know pretty much everything now. So in this video, we're going to break down all three models and talk about what I like, what I'm most impressed with seeing so far before obviously testing it hands-on, and also what I'm concerned with as well. Let's go. Hi, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this and you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. Now, straight into it, we get three models of the S21 series, the S21, S21 Plus, and the S21 Ultra. And if you watch my previous What I'm Excited For video, then you know it's all about the S21 Ultra for me. So we're mainly going to be focusing on that model, but definitely, man, we're going to be talking about the S21 and the S21 Plus as well. Now, with all three models, the design is consistent across the board with the use of high quality matte frosted glass finish, which, if you know, I'm a big fan of, which looks like it's the latest Gorilla Glass Victus and also an aluminium frame. But the normal S21 has got a glasstic back frosted design for it instead. So that's probably the only differentiating factor between the Ultra model as well as the Plus model. Now, what I'm really liking is the amount of colors that is being offered across all three models, and also the design style at the back with how distinctive the camera module looks at the back of the phone. Now, when it comes to the S21 Ultra and the colors, it comes in what is known as Phantom Black, Phantom Silver as the main colors, and then Phantom Titanium, Phantom Brown, and Phantom Navy. Boy, a lot of Phantom. Now, moving over to the S21 Plus colors, it does come in Phantom Black, Phantom Silver, Phantom Violet, Phantom Gold, and Phantom Red. And finally, the S21 colors, the normal S21 colors, it does come in what is known as Phantom Gray, Phantom White, Phantom Violet, as well as Phantom Pink. Whew, again, a lot of Phantom. Just realize that some colors like the Ultra and the Plus models, it does look like you can only get those special edition colors available directly from Samsung at the moment. So how you decide to purchase it will determine what color you can pretty much get. Overall though, when it comes to the design, man, I like the look of them. They look both striking and clean at the same time, and I can't wait to see it live and direct in person. Oh man, this one here, let's talk about the display. And they did it. Samsung did it. They might have just produced the best overall mobile display on a smartphone to date. That's me specifically referring to the S21 Ultra though, because on paper, the S21 and the S21 Plus looks to have taken a step backwards, which is looking kind of concerning at the moment. Let's start first one with the big boy one. Firstly, the S21 Ultra, we are finally getting a 6.8 inch quad high definition plus QHD plus dynamic AMOLED display with 120 Hz high refresh rate. And check this, people, you finally get to have both features at the same time. No more having to choose 1080p for high refresh rate, and this is about time for real. On top of that, you get a crazy max peak brightness of 1500 nits built on an Infinity O center top hole punch design display, as we've come to know from Samsung. And the refresh rate as well is also variable, which is going to make this such an efficient display, especially on battery consumption. And one last sweet addition to the S21 Ultra display is the fact that there's a Wacom, or people call it Wacom digitizer, built in, meaning this is the first S series flagship to finally have S Pen support. Now, those S Pen features are limited, which we're gonna get into later, but so far this is something that Samsung are really good, and this is great, man. They might have just put out the best overall display, especially so far with the fact that you get that near enough flat screen design with a very slight 2.5D front curved glass display. Now, for all the excitement I've shared for the S21 Ultra display, boy, that low key does not feel the same when it comes to the S21 and S21 Plus, because at 6.2 and 6.7 inch respectively, they have both been capped at 1080p full high definition with no quad high definition option at all, not even at 60 frames per second like what we had before. A lower, even though, come on, still slightly bright, you know, still very bright display at a maximum peak brightness of 1300 nits instead of 1500 nits. Now, what is good is you are still getting 120 Hz refresh rate, and they are both completely flat displays with no curve at the front at all. Another thing you're not getting is you are not getting no S Pen support on these models. That is only left to the S21 Ultra. Now look, this low key so far does feel strange, and it's kind of like a strange move, but we have to see how this affects the price, which obviously we're going to discuss later on, and the overall experience of using the S21 and the S21 Plus. Now, let's move over to the specs and performance. And come on, these three phones, to no surprise, they are packing good. But weirdly enough, there is going to be one hardware feature missing on all three models, which was kind of a shock for me and might be a shock especially for long-term Galaxy fans. Now in the USA, you will be getting the Snapdragon 888 or 888, which is Qualcomm's latest 5nm 5G integrated system on a chip. But in the UK and most of the rest of the world, we will be getting the newly updated Exynos 2100, which is also Samsung's latest, built on a 5nm process and 5G support as well. Now, let's have that conversation now. I know most people do not believe in Exynos, especially with past experiences, which, look, it's perfectly understandable. But for some reason, personally, I have faith and I feel Samsung might just pull it back, especially when it comes to overall efficiency. But we all know it, man. Real world testing will have to be done to really verify this. Now, the S21 Ultra does come with a base 12GB of RAM with 128 and 256 GB of storage, then moving up to the beefy 16GB of RAM with 512 GB of storage. Now, both the S21 and S21 Plus only come with 8GB of RAM with 128 and 256 GB of onboard storage. But guess what's missing on all of them? Yep, no micro SD card support on all three models. Now look, it doesn't bother me, and I'm gonna do a video about that to explain why. But it looks like Samsung are finally ready to say goodbye to it. Another thing is the fingerprint scanner has gotten bigger at 1.7 times, which I'm hoping will finally give a much better experience, as previously it's been a bit of a hit and miss. Now, when it comes to the battery and charging, it looks like we're getting pretty much the same, near enough the same as what we had before. The S21 has a 4000 mAh battery, the S21 Plus has a 4800 mAh battery, which is actually bigger than the previous, and the S21 Ultra has a 5000 mAh battery, which is the same as before. Charging as well, it stays the same with speeds at 25 watts wired and 15 watt wireless and power share as well. I would have seriously loved to have seen faster charging and more efficient charging speeds here, but this is what we've got and this is what we've got to work with yet again. Another big major disappointment, which I was really hoping Samsung was not going to do, especially so soon, is the fact that you no longer get a charging brick or earphones in the box. And this is the angle that they're coming from. Again, it looks like they're taking the stand from an environmental angle, and also based on their own feedback, they believe enough customers have chargers of their own to use. This might need its own video, especially on that S21 Ultra at the price it's going to be coming out. I'm not sure I fully agree with this move just yet. Now quickly, when it comes to software, you are getting the latest Android 11 with One UI 3.1 out of the box, which is obviously expected, but also still great to see. But like I said before, the S Pen support that you get on specifically the S21 Ultra means it comes with S Pen software features as well. But at a quick glance over, there is a catch to this, as some of the features are limited with the S Pen support on the S21 Ultra, such as not having Bluetooth or air gestures. How much people will care, we don't know, we'll wait to see. Not being actually physically built into the frame like you get with the Note series, and you do actually get a slightly bigger S Pen, which might actually make it more comfortable to hold and use. This, in terms of the S Pen support, feels like more of the S Pen of the old, such as the Note 8 days in terms of features and support. But I think this is a good step in the right direction, and it further shows how far Samsung is willing to go to make sure and give you the best big screen phone experience across the board. Last part is going to be the camera, and there's a decent amount here, especially more on the Ultra, but on paper from a hardware side, especially on the S21 and the S21 Plus, there isn't much change, and low-key one odd single cutback on the S21 Plus with a more refined approach to the camera hardware across the board. Now the S21 Ultra is working with a quad camera system with a large 108 megapixel sensor, f1.8 aperture, phase detection autofocus with a laser AF sensor, OIS with the optical image stabilization, then a 12 megapixel ultra wide with f2.2 aperture and 120-degree field of view. Then you have two zoom lenses with one mid-range ×3 zoom at 10 megapixels, f2.4 aperture, optical image stabilization, and dual pixel autofocus. Then there's a second super zoom at ×10 optical f4.9 aperture, which is a bit low, optical image stabilization, and dual pixel autofocus as well. And then when you move over to the selfie, it is a 14 megapixel shooter with an f2.2 aperture. Now, both the S21 and S21 Plus have the same identical hardware, rocking a triple lens setup with a 12 megapixel main sensor, f1.8 aperture, dual pixel autofocus, and optical image stabilization OIS, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide with an f2.2 aperture with, again, 120-degree field of view, and a 64 megapixel sensor, which is used for telezoom at f2.0. Both the selfies are at 10 megapixels at f2.2. Now, what is missing is that time of flight sensor on the S21 Plus versus the previous, so how much this will affect performance in the camera department is yet to be seen, but honestly, I think will be okay. But what I am happy to see, finally, man, is improvement to video performance with finally the ability to shoot 4K UHD 60 frames a second across all camera sensors, which is the first time, and for some strange reason wasn't something that was done before. So this is finally great to see. And what looks also promising is the improvements to the 100 times space zoom with features such as zoom lock, also improvements to low light photos, especially in the night mode, improved video stabilization. Video stabilization was excellent already, improved again from what we've seen, and also improvements to single take mode as well. Again, this is just a quick overview of the camera hardware with features such as 8K 24 frames a second recording still being there. But just to let you know on this channel, man, if you've been here and if you're not, man, we do a lot of camera comparisons on here. So best believe, man, I'm ready to really test this and give this a go. Now, pricing in the UK and availability, it starts at £769 for the base model S21, £949 for the S21 Plus, and also £1,149 for that beast S21 Ultra when it comes to the base models across the board, with what is going to be available at 29th of January with a hands-on full release to the public, but pre-orders should be going live straight away. That is it. That is the roundup of the Unpacked event for these three flagship models. Let me know what you think, man. Which one are you excited for? Like I said, S21 Ultra, man, that's the one I want to be getting in and really be pushing and testing against the competition. You're going to be seeing lots of coverage on the channel, man. That's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.